Okay. So students, in the previous session, we started with flow control statements and we completed if-else statements, right? The first category of the flow control statements is selection statements, and out of the selection statements, we have covered the first part, that is if-else statements, and we were moving forward with switch statement now. So today we will discuss about switch statement, what is the syntax of switch statement, and what are some special cases we will understand through programs, that how we are going to get output if the switch has been described in such a way in a particular Java program. So first question that will come from the interviewer is, why switch statements are needed in Java or any programming language? So the answer is, when we are using if-else statements and we have to specify lots of situations, because this is a selection condition statements. Okay, these are the selection statements, decision making statements. So if the number of cases are going to increase and we still are bounded to use if-else statements, then what we will do? We will start using nested if-else statements. If we have to take some decision and the decision is based on lots of choices. So in that case, instead of using individual if-else statement, I will go for using nested if-else statement. Now imagine the number of cases are increasing. In that case, nested if-else is going to become very much messy. Nested if-else statement is going to become too messy. So in order to avoid the complexity of the program, instead of using nested if-else statement, we have the option of using switch case. What do we have? We have an option of using switch case statement. So please note it down in your notebooks. If we are using nested if-else statement, first point, if we are using nested if-else statement for very large number of cases, then the complexity of the program will increase. The complexity of the program will increase, comma. In order to avoid the complexity of the Java program, in order to avoid the complexity of the Java program, we go for switch case statement. We go for switch case statement. Are you writing, students?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, so if the number of if-else statements are increasing in any Java program, it will become very messy. The flow control will become messy. So we will go for switch case statement. So what is the syntax? Let's understand the syntax first. Very simple syntax. The way we use it in C++, same way we have to use it in Java also. Switch, and there will be some parameter, and we will specify some cases within the body. Case 1, colon, then we will specify some action. If this case happens, then what action has to be taken? Then we will put a break statement. Then we will specify the second case. As I told you, here we will be having a lot of cases. Again, the body action that has to be taken if the second case is true. That we will specify here. And again, we will break this case also, and we will move on to the next case. Like this, we will proceed in switch case. So this is the syntax. Switch, some parameter x. Depending on the choice that you have opted for this x, the respective case is going to be executed. This we know very well. We have practiced it in C++ language also. In if-else, we were having only one choice. If this is happening, take this decision, else take this decision. But now in case of switch, we can specify as many number of cases as we want. without making the program very complex. In case none of the cases are meeting the requirements, then we can specify one default case also. And in the default case, you can keep some default action to be executed. Syntax is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now
Yes.
the question that comes from the interviewer is what this X is going to carry. What this X is going to carry. What it will store. So how many primitive data types we know? Quickly tell me. We know eight primitive data types. And out of those 8 primitive data types, this X variable can be byte or short or char, or it can be integer type. So we know 4 primitive data types. Out of those 4 primitive data types, the X can be either byte or short or char or integer. Other than these 4 types, no other value is allowed for this parameter X. Byte, short, char, int are allowed. Other than these 4, what are the ones which are not allowed?
Double,
long,
Boolean,
Float.
Boolean.
Float.
Character will.
Yes. So first tell me, okay, this is very straight question, that what are the data types that are allowed for this parameter X? Now the twisted question, why Boolean is not allowed? Can anybody tell me why Boolean data type is not allowed for such parameter? Very simple question.
It has
because
only two
because
options,
we are
true
giving the
and
case,
false.
Integer cases.
ma'am, because you use suppose true, so all about the cases are executed.
Anyone else?
Size of
Boolean data
boolean
type
is
has
not
only two
applicable.
types, true and false.
Yes, so we can use true and false now. What is the problem with that?
It's
In
limited
size
to
of
only to that cases
boolean is
only.
not applicable.
So if it is limited to 2 cases, what is the issue?
In switch case, we want a precise value, a precise input.
Here also you need to give precise input. Ambiguous inputs are not allowed. Here also you have to specify very precise input. Yes, quickly tell me why Boolean is not allowed. Hmm?
Ma'am, true and false means we after condition give we one output like that is generalized output true or false after one condition.
Blah blah blah. You people are speaking blah blah blah.
Ma'am,
Yes.
Boolean will give only two operations, means true and false.
Then what is the problem with that?
We want then more than true and false. Then
Why?
it is not.
Ma'am, because
If we have to,
Hmm?
ma'am, cases are of integer type.
Ma'am, switch case contain default value.
Hmm. Okay, no, default is completely optional. If you want to skip default part, you can skip default part. The compiler is not going to ask you.
Because we have the if else statement for the Boolean data types.
What's your name?
Ruchita.
Very good, Ruchita. Very good. So all of you, please listen to me carefully. If we allow Boolean data type for switch, if we allow Boolean data type for switch, we will be having 2 cases, true case and false case. Then it will be exactly the way how if else works, isn't it? If Boolean will be accepted, then it will be giving you 2 cases, true case and false case, which will be exactly the way how if else statement is going to work. So if else is there for accomplishing this task, why are we going to entertain Boolean data type? Switch has been introduced in order to reduce the complexity of nested if else statements. But if we are taking Boolean data type, then nested if else is not coming into the picture. So if nested if else is not there, we don't have to go for switch. If else is sufficient for two conditions. If true, do this, else do this. Next, coming to float and double. So we know that float and double are floating point numbers. Float and double are floating point numbers. Why we are not allowing floating type numbers for specifying the cases? Because take any two floating point numbers. Let's say 1.1 to 2.1. Now tell me how many numbers are there that exist between 1.1 and 2.1?
10.
Really? What are those 10 numbers? 1.1, 1.2,
Infinite.
infinite. Yes. Between any two floating point numbers or between any numbers, there will be infinite numbers that exist. And we don't have to specify like float 1.1, 1.10, 1.11, 1.12, again starting from 1.101, 1.102. We don't want that. That is the reason why float and double are not allowed inside switch. Then again long, the range of long is very large. Okay, we have studied in data type session that the range of long data type is very large, and that many cases we will never be required to specify in any Java program. Then there is no point of discussing long, and there is no point of allowing long type of parameter inside switch. That many number of cases we are never going to define. Is it clear what data types are allowed and what data types are not allowed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Second important thing, curly braces are mandatory or not. We already discussed in if else concept about curly braces. In if else we have already discussed. Now here also you tell me compiler is going to forgive you or compiler is going to generate errors for you if you skip curly braces. Yes, quickly note down the heading switch statement and whatever is there in front of your screen, note it down in your notebooks. What is allowed, what is not allowed, and think about this. Is curly braces mandatory?
No, no, ma'am.
Ma'am, without curly
Yes.
braces, only one statement is valid. That should not be declarative.
Mhm. Have you kept the subheading? Switch statements. All of you, please note down. After the syntax, note down number 1 point. Curly braces are mandatory. Curly braces are mandatory in switch statements. Okay, so this is very important that other than switch, everywhere curly braces are optional, but in switch statement, curly braces are mandatory. Second point that you should note is empty switch is valid. Empty switch is valid. How? Let me show you. If I write switch and here I'll specify some variable. That's completely fine. It's empty switch. We are neither defining any cases, nor we are defining any default case. This is called as empty switch. So is it going to execute or not? See, the compiler is not generating any error. If we have a switch case that is empty, it's completely fine. My life, my rules. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Next, if you write anything inside switch statement, I said switch, empty switch is valid. But if I try to write something inside the switch, look at my screen. I have a switch body, and inside this, I am printing some message. Is it going to execute? Yes, quickly tell me. I told you empty switch is valid. Now what I am doing, I am just printing some message inside that switch without specifying any case, without specifying any default condition. What is going to happen?
Invalid.
Why?
They are not taking any instructions.
Because inside the switch body, every line should be under any case or default. Okay? If you write a switch, say, if you write a switch body, every statement should be either part of case or it should be part of default. Inside the switch, every statement has to be part of case or default. Independent statements cannot exist. Okay, let me execute it for you. I already executed. See, this is the error we are going to get. Because this is a valid statement. This is a valid Java statement. Syntax is correct. But it is not under any case. And it is not under default also. Are you getting my point? We cannot write independent statements inside switch body. Every statement has to be inside case or inside default. So if I write case X, is it valid now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now the statement is specified under some case. So it is completely valid. Or if I do like this, instead of a case, if I am writing it under default also, completely fine. Can you see? No error is there. So is my point clear? Inside switch, every line should be under case or default. Second point, empty switch is absolutely fine. It's absolutely valid. Third point is curly braces are mandatory except curly braces are mandatory in switch. Okay. Except switch, curly braces are optional everywhere. Any type of loop, for loop, while loop, do while loop, or if else statement, everywhere. In all the flow control statements, you can skip curly braces, but for switch, you cannot skip curly braces. All these 3 points are clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. One more thing that the interviewer can ask you, it's not important, but just one advanced thing I want to tell you is, please note it down in your notebooks. One 1.5 version of Java. Then we are having 1.7 version of Java. Okay, so in these two versions of Java, something happened. Actually, before 1.5 version, only these 3-4 primitive data types were allowed inside the switch, okay, for specifying the cases. Then later, what happened in 1.5 version, I tell you, wrapper classes, something we are going to discuss later, wrapper classes. Okay, for now, just remember this, that wrapper classes and enum are also allowed inside switch. Okay, along with these 4 primitive data types, wrapper classes are also allowed and enums are also allowed. What happened in 1.7 version? See, in 1.7 version, Along with wrapper classes, enum, and all these 4 data types, string is also supported. Okay, string plus enum plus wrapper classes and these 4 primitive data types: byte, short, char, and int. Okay, byte, short, char, and int. So this also you need to know. Something that if you speak in front of the interviewer, definitely you are going to throw some different impression compared to other candidates who will be coming for interview. Am I clear to everyone? I repeat one more time. Before 1.5 version of Java, only these 4 data types were allowed inside Switch. Later, in a 1.5 version, wrapper classes and enum are also added to this list. After 1.7 version, string data type is also added. So you can pass string type of parameters also. Okay, as a label. Have a look. If you have any doubt, please ask me, else we will proceed. Note it down in your notebooks. If it is clear, we will proceed. Shall we proceed?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. So just now we discussed about the syntax. Now I will be writing some programs for you and you will tell me the output. If your Eclipse is installed, you can execute the programs along with me, or you can keep noting down in your notebooks. So let's start. First program is I have one class day 1. Okay, this is just one class day 1. I will be modifying the same program for telling you what types of different cases we are going to discuss today. So this day 1 class is public class and this is the main method. Those who are coming for the first time, okay, if you want to know the details of main method and how we create classes and how we create objects, I will share you the link of the videos that we have recorded through these sessions. Okay, and now we will start with the switch statement. So I have one variable x and I have initialized it with 10. Another integer variable I will take y and I will initialize it with the value 20. Then switch x, I am passing one label. What is the type of x? Data type of x.
Int.
Is it valid?
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely valid. Just now we discussed that integer is valid. So I have taken one case 10 because we are passing integer label here. So 10 is also integer. So here the case label is 10. Valid or not? 10 is valid or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely valid. No problem. And here we will write the break statement. Then I will specify another case y. Again, I will try to print something. Let me copy it. System.out.println. I will print the value of 20 and again I will keep a break statement here. So I have a class day 1. I have the main method. Inside the main method, we are declaring 2 variables, x and y. Both are having integer data type. In switch, I am passing x parameter. 2 cases I have defined, case number 10 and case y. Is this program going to execute?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, tell me, is this program going to execute? What do you think? What the compiler is going to do? Everything is fine, switch is there, case is there.
No, ma'am.
On 15 line, we have to use integer मतलब 20.
20. But 20 I assigned to one character, and character is also allowed inside switch. Then what is the problem?
Ma'am,
Char, integer, byte, short. All are allowed, no? Just now we saw
y is
byte, short,
variable.
char, int. Yes.
Y is variable, and we want data type.
Y is a variable, we want data type.
Data type is a constant, means we want constant value.
Yes. So the error will be there. The compiler will say that y is a variable. See, I am initializing the variable y with 20, but is it going to make it a constant? Anytime I can modify the value of y. Y is a variable. What is variable? Variable. Ability to vary. Here y has been initialized with 20, but we never know that throughout the program, I will write just one more statement and the value of y will be changed. Because it's a variable, we can change its value, right? Am I right?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
In the similar way, x is also a variable, y is also a variable, but here I am specifying 10. Instead of x, I am specifying 10, which is a constant. 10 is a constant, x is not a constant, x is a variable. Here, I am specifying y, I am not specifying 20. So the compiler will say that every case label should be a constant. Case expressions must be constant expressions. And what you are passing a variable expression. You are passing a variable expression. If I make it 20, then there is no problem at all. There is no problem at all. Okay? Next. Is it clear? What is the conclusion? Please note it down. Every case label should be a constant. It should not be a variable. Every case label should be a constant. It should not be a variable. That is the conclusion from this program. Okay, now what I can do is I'll keep my old program where we were getting error. Okay, so some students might be thinking that here we are mentioning 10, but here we are mentioning a character value like y, x, something like that, some variable we are passing. That's why this error is coming. Now, if I write final int y is equal to 20 in the same program, the program is same. Instead of keeping int y is equal to 20, I have declared it as a constant. How we declare constants in Java? By using a final keyword. So I have final int y is equal to 20 in line number 7. Now tell me, x is a variable or constant?
Constant.
Constant.
Y is a variable or constant?
Constant.
So the error should be there or not? Same error that we were getting in the previous program.
No error, ma'am.
No.
No, ma'am. So all
No.
of you, please pay attention. Now we have two variables, and one of that variable is converted into a constant because I am using a final keyword here. With final keyword, you can declare constants. Now in this switch case, I am passing 10, and in the second case, I am passing y. Case y, system.out.println 20 and break. But y is not a variable. Y is a constant. So compiler will smoothly execute your program without throwing any error. Okay? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Have a look at the screen. Those who are coming for the first time, if you are facing any difficulty, please ask. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Shall we move forward? Are you writing down the program?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, next case. I am going to write one more program and you will tell me the output. Int x is equal to 10. Now what I will do is, inside the switch, I am going to write x plus 1. I am writing an expression inside the switch. Case 10, system.out.println 10, that's fine. Here also I am trying to pass one expression like 100 plus 200. System.out.println, what is the sum of 100 and 200? 300. Is it fine? All of you, look at the screen and tell me.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
We have a class day 1. Inside it, I have declared one instance variable x with the value 10. Inside the switch, I am passing an expression. I am not passing a variable, I am not passing a constant, I am passing an expression. Is it valid or not? Case 10, system.out.println 10. Case 100 plus 200. Another expression. Two expressions I am using in this program. And I am trying to print the value 300. Then break statement. Now tell me how the flow control will work. Is there any compile time error?
No.
No, ma'am.
So there is no compile time error. Why? Because here x is what type? Integer type. I am adding 1 to this integer value. 1 is a constant. So this combinedly will be integer, no problem. If it is integer, integer is allowed. There is no problem. Right? And if it is case 10, this will happen. If it is case this is going to happen. Right? So there is no problem. This is completely fine. Constant expression is valid inside switch. That is the conclusion that I am trying to show you, that constant expression is valid. If you are using some variables inside that expression, then it is invalid. The compiler will throw some error. But it is a constant expression. If it is variable expression, then there will be problem. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So switch x plus 1 means it is executing the case number 11. Okay, no problem at all if the expression is constant. Till the expression is constant, any case level is a constant, there is no problem. The moment we are involving variables inside the case labels, then it is going to throw compile time errors. Have a look. Shall we move forward?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I will write one more program and you will tell me the output. Okay. One more thing. If I don't write any case and directly if I write default, is the syntax fine?
Yes.
Switch without case or default is fine or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
See, what I'm trying to ask you is, first listen to the question. I have the switch body and I am not writing this case 1. I am not writing case 2 also, and directly I'm writing default. Is it valid?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
then
ma'am.
then that means a switch body without case is valid. Okay. Now if I am not writing default, if I am not writing default, but I am writing cases, is it valid?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That means switch without case is valid, switch without default is valid, switch without both is also valid. Okay. Now, let me write one more program for you and then we will move forward with while loop. So I have a variable x, type of the variable is byte. You know byte data type, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What have you done in Saturday, students?
Pseudocode practice.
Which platform? On which platform you have practiced?
YouTube.
Then that means you were listening. You were not performing anything. Hacker Earth, Hacker Rank, on these platforms did you perform? Okay. So can you see the program?
Yes, ma'am.
What I am trying to do is, I am writing a switch case and the first case is case 10 and the second case is case 1000. So my case labels are valid or not? First you tell me.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Case
Correct,
labels
ma'am.
are valid, okay? They are constant. Also, the parameter that I am passing into the switch is byte type. That is also absolutely fine because byte is allowed. Okay? So will this program execute for you? On giving the input 3, 4, 5, any input that is not available in the case labels, only the default will execute. Okay? As break was not there, it was executing these both bodies. Okay? So this is the program that you will do tomorrow. Not just this program, whatever small changes we have done in the switch syntax and whatever we have observed, that if we skip else, if we skip case, if we skip default, if we skip curly braces, if we enter expression variables, then what types of errors you will get, that you have to observe. Clear? Okay, next we have to start while loop, but we are left with 15 minutes. Shall we start today or shall we start tomorrow? While and do while. It won't take much time. Let's finish it today. Shall we continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Okay. Majority is yes, so we'll continue. So what will happen in while loop, you see, you already know the syntax. It's an iterative statement. We are moving towards, you have drawn the classification tree, right? Flow control statements are of two types. First one is selection statements. Then we have iterative statements. Now in the iterative statements, which are also called as loop statements, we have the first loop, which is while loop. Okay, so first let's understand the syntax. Very easy syntax. You already know it. While, then we pass some condition here. If the condition is true, the control will go into the body. If the condition is false, then it won't enter the body. And if it is entering the body, some action will be executed. Okay, is it clear? This is the while loop. This is the while keyword that we are using. And this is some condition that we will specify. If this condition is true, control of the program will enter the body, some action will be taken, else this whole thing will be skipped and the control will start executing sequentially, the default manner of execution. Now, here, what is the twist? Again, the twist is this B, which I have specified as B, should be of what type? Tell me. It should be of what type?
Boolean.
Condition.
It should be of, yes, it should be a condition and it should be Boolean. Okay, Boolean. Now, how to decide whether we have to use while loop or for loop or do while loop? There is so much confusion. So many loops are there. Which one to pick? Can anybody tell me how to decide that we should go for while loop? Quickly, we don't have time.
For one condition while loop, and for two condition if they do while loop for that.
C. Note out the
When
note.
we have increment type or decrement type of condition, then we should use while loop.
No, that is applicable for all loops. That is applicable for all iterative statements. See, if you don't, okay, let me tell you, if the number of iterations, that how long you have to, execute something, you are not sure about the number of iterations. The number of iterations are not known in advance. In that case, you should go for while loop. When the number of iterations are not known in advance. Like in for loop, we have to specify that when your loop should start and when your loop should end. Okay? In for loop, we specify it in advance. But when we don't know in advance how many times we have to execute this part of the code, then we should go for while loop, and this should be a Boolean variable. Okay? If you pass any other type of variable like byte, int, float, any type of variable, it is going to throw error. So now tell me, braces are optional or mandatory? These braces are optional or mandatory?
Mandatory.
Optional.
Mandatory.
Optional.
It is optional. Okay, other than switch, everywhere the braces are optional. It is not mandatory. Only it is mandatory in switch. And if it is optional, then only single line is valid without braces. Okay, that we have already discussed in if else. If you are skipping the braces, then we can specify only single line, and that also should not be declarative statement. Do you remember if else statement, class?
Yes, ma'am.
We can skip the braces and we can execute single line of code, but that also should not be a declarative statement. You should not be declaring any variables in that line of code, that single line of code that you are writing just after while or if else or for. Okay, so other than switch, everywhere curly braces are optional. In switch, it is mandatory. So let's see some programs. Let me bring changes in the same code. I will write some statements and you tell me the output. Int a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 20. Fine. While A is less than B. While A is less than B, do what? Do something. Let's print something.
Ma'am, then we have to give the value of x a, right? A equal to 10.
Sorry. Instead of X, it should be A. Hello, engineers. And here I'll keep some statement outside the while loop so that if the condition is false, it should resume the sequential execution, right? System.out.println, and here hi kids. Clear? So now tell me, for this program, what would be the output?
Hello, engineer.
Hello, engineers.
Hello, engineers.
Hello, engineer.
How many times?
Time.
Infinite.
One time.
Only one time.
Infinite.
It will go on.
Okay, so A is 10, B is 20. Okay, these are constants or variables?
Variable.
Con-
Variables.
These are variables, they are not
Variable.
constant, okay? So 10 is less than 20. Is it true or false?
True.
True.
So A is a variable and compiler is going to consider each and every line, and this condition is coming out as true. So we will enter the body and the program will run for, let's see how many times. Okay, it is saying hello to all the engineers present in the world. Okay, infinite times the program is executing. Fine. Now, second case. If I declare it as constant, how I can declare it as constant?
Final.
Keyword.
Final.
Final keyword.
I'll write final. Final A is equal to 10, this. And then now you tell me, is it valid? Is it valid now? Quickly,
No, ma'am.
Yes.
Why yes, why no?
10 is less than 20. A is
10 is less than 20, we know that.
then true, ma'am. So while executed, hello, engineer.
Then why the error is there? See what the error I will get. Unreachable code. Okay, unreachable code. See what will happen if I declare A as constant and B is a variable, but A is a constant. If it is a constant, the compiler knows that the value of A is going to stay 10. It is not going to change. So the value of A is 10 and 10 is less than 20. This is going to be true. Okay. And if it is going to be true, it will enter this part of code and it is not going to evaluate this part of code ever. Okay. The flow control will never come to line number 11. That's why the compiler is saying that it is unreachable code. It is unreachable code. Am I clear to everyone? That's why you have to be very careful in the, what is happening here? You have to be very careful during the MCQ based questions. If it is a variable, then it's fine. In the previous case, we just saw that if it is variable, A and B are variable, then the compiler is okay, that it can change its value at any point of time. So I should evaluate each and every line of code. But here we are declaring A as a constant, and if it is a constant, it is not going to change its value. If it is not going to change its value, that means while is never going to be false. Okay, while is never going to be false. That means we will never reach this line of code. So the compiler is saying that it's unreachable code. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So you have to keep in mind. See, regular do while and while questions I am not discussing. I am discussing something which is important and that can come in your exam. Next, one more thing.
Ma'am,
Hmm.
ma'am, what if we give both the that mean both A and B are the constant? So is it valid?
No, if you wait 1 second. If you give both A and B as constants, then A is 10, constant, B is 10, 20, constant, and
Yes.
this condition is still true, na? 10 is still less than 20.
Yes.
Same error will come, unreachable code.
Okay.
Okay, you just
Yeah.
you can avoid passing constants here.
Okay. Fine.
Now what I am doing is while true, let me delete that part. While true, system.out.println, hello engineers, and here hello kids. Now also
True.
what true?
Infinite.
Hello, engineer.
Hello engineers, no problem will be there.
Error,
Again, the
ma'am.
same error will come.
Same condition.
Okay, again it's an unreachable code, because while true means the condition is true all the time. So we will never come out of this loop and we will never be able to reach this line. So we will never reach line number 11. It's unreachable line of code. So this is what I am trying to tell you, because if such questions will come in MCQ, one option will be infinite loop, one option will be hello engineers, and some will take infinite loop, some will take hello engineers, but you have to take compile time error option. This is the error given by the compiler. It's a compilation problem. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes,
today,
ma'am.
we started with the switch statements, and then we have seen some questions on switch, some programs on switch. Then we moved towards while loop, and tomorrow we will complete these flow control statements. Okay, do while, we'll start with do while, we'll complete for and for each, everything we will finish tomorrow. But this topic is very vast. 100 times I am telling you the same thing. Language has no end. Language has no end. The more you study, the more you will get to know. The more projects you will do, more you will get to know. So keep practicing on your own level. Your classes are not starting, you are still at home. Try to make out the best out of the time that is with you. Practice more and more MCQ questions, practice more and more interview based questions. Okay.